In the heart of ancient Greece, over 2,700 years ago, a fierce tradition was born, one that would come to define the ultimate test of human strength, skill, and spirit: the Olympic Games. But these weren't just games. They were sacred, a festival, a battle between gods and men, a place where victory meant immortality and defeat was forgotten in the shadows of the gods. How did this legendary tradition start? Who were the athletes who risked everything for glory? And what was the price of eternal fame? This is the story of the first Olympics, where it all began. Join us as we step back in time to uncover the origins of the greatest competition the world has ever known. The original Olympic Games were held in ancient Greece, with the first recorded event occurring in 776 BCE at Olympia, a sanctuary site dedicated to Zeus, the king of the Greek gods. These games were part of a religious festival to honor Zeus, and they became one of the most significant athletic and cultural events in the ancient world. Olympia, located in the western part of the Peloponnesian Peninsula, was home to the Temple of Zeus, where the ancient Olympic Games were held. The Games were not only athletic competitions, but also a religious and cultural celebration. They marked a time when warfare would pause, and rival city-states would come together in a truce to allow athletes to travel and compete. The Olympics took place every 4 years, a period known as the Olympiad. The competition was originally a one-day event, but it later expanded to 5 days. The festival involved athletic competitions, feasts, and sacrifices to the gods. The original events included: number 1, stadion race, a foot race of about 200 meters, which was the first and most important event. Number 2, diaulos, a race that was double the length of the stadion, approximately 400 meters. Number 3, delicios, a long-distance race, typically 7 to 24 laps around the stadium. Number 4, wrestling, a one-on-one combat sport with no weight classes. Number 5, boxing, a brutal event with no rounds, and the fight continued until one participant surrendered or was incapacitated. Number 6, pankration, a combination of boxing and wrestling, where nearly any form of attack was allowed, except biting and gouging. Number 7, pentathlon, a 5-event competition including the stadion race, long jump, discus throw, javelin throw, and wrestling. Initially, only male citizens of Greek city-states could compete in the Games, and they participated in the nude, a practice that emphasized physical beauty and athleticism. Women were not allowed to compete or even attend the Games, though there was a separate festival for women called the Heraea, dedicated to the goddess Hera. The Olympic Games were deeply tied to religion, particularly the worship of Zeus. A large sacrifice of 100 oxen was typically performed in honor of Zeus, and the winners were crowned with a wreath of olive leaves from the sacred grove of Olympia. The Games were considered a way to honor the gods and gain their favor, and athletes often made vows or offerings before competing. The winners were celebrated as heroes, and their victories were often immortalized in poetry and statues. In fact, famous athletes like Milo of Croton, a 6-time Olympic champion in wrestling, gained legendary status. Unlike modern Olympics, there were no monetary prizes. Instead, athletes received a crown of olive leaves, called a kotinos, and gained significant honor and fame. They were often rewarded with gifts, such as free meals or land, from their home city-states. The Olympic Games were marked by a unique feature called the Olympic Truce, Greek ekacheria, which called for a temporary cessation of hostilities between the competing Greek city-states during the Games. This allowed athletes and spectators to travel safely to Olympia. Violating the truce was considered a serious offense, and the penalties could include fines or even exile. The ancient Olympic Games continued for nearly 1,200 years, but eventually, they were brought to an end due to several factors. The rise of Christianity and the decline of pagan religions led to the Games being seen as pagan rituals, and in 393 CE, Roman Emperor Theodosius I officially banned the Games as part of his efforts to suppress pagan practices. The Games were also affected by the growing power of the Roman Empire and the eventual decline of the Greek city-states. The final ancient Olympic Games are believed to have occurred in 393 CE. Although they were not held again for over a millennium, the idea of the Olympics would eventually be revived in the modern era. The Olympic Games were revived in 1896 by Pierre de Coubertin, a French educator and historian, who sought to promote peace and international unity through sports. The first modern Olympics were held in Athens, Greece, marking the start of the modern Olympic Games as we know them today. In summary, the original Olympic Games were a blend of athletic competition, religious observance, and cultural celebration, with a rich history that spanned over a millennium. They were a source of pride for the Greek city-states and a significant aspect of Greek identity, leaving an enduring legacy that continues today in the form of the modern Olympic Games.